Morning. I thought I'd show you the way that I use my Evernote in my CPD listings, and the way that I link both Evernote into my worksheet so I can find things and search for stuff, and how that works in both Safari and, for that matter, Chrome when I do a search. So on the screen now I've got my Evernote basic page, and you can see there I've got a lot of stuff being just saved. I've just saved a screen from Helena Bennett, who is a photographer of architecture, and she happens to be quite famous really for the stuff that she's done for a lot of different architects, and particularly, and the reason I did it was because of Zaha Hadid and the stuff that she's done on her work. As you can see there, I've got tabs already done for it: architecture, photo, and of course Zaha Hadid. And I can search on that if I want. So I can either search for Zaha Hadid, and you can see it comes up all past searches I've done. But let's just search on Zaha Hadid, and all of those will have something about her in the either the text or in the actual body of the text itself. Now, if I've got tags up there, then what I do is just tag colon, and then let's say brickwork, and immediately it brings up anything that's got a tag on it with brickwork in it, and you can see I've got quite a few there naturally. All the stuff that I've got, including my very favourite brickwork tables. Every technologist should have a copy of that somewhere. So if I've got anything, I put it into here. Now what I'll do is I'll slide that across onto my other screen for just a second, and I'll just show you what I've got here in terms of my CPD list, which is no more than a spreadsheet. Well, it's a series of spreadsheets all linked into a booklet. So the front sheet is just really to show who it is. I only put that on because I link this onto my blog site under CPD, and that's what comes up first, so people can just see what it is. And of course a reminder for me to say that I'm on my third year in here. So what I've got is the activity, and as you can see there, it's a simple spreadsheet, nothing too complicated, where I've got a series of columns, and you can see what I saved there. The date that I did it, my name. Now originally I was going to put something on here for other people as well to share it out, but nobody's ever done it, so it's just me really. The subject of what I'm studying, the project category list. Now if I go down here, these are the projects that I am studying. In other words, they're my subject matter, the CPD requirements that I want to do, and I've got quite a few in there, and I put a priority against it so I can see, yes, I want to do more on that one. It's a priority for me, so I've got a priority listing on it, and these are the hours I've spent on that particular subject. And as you can see, there is no activity there, and if I go out of that and try and put out something and get rid of that, then you can see in the 2014 I'm doing quite well at the moment, and I'll show you how that works. The formula in there, if you want to take note of it, is that, because it basically goes into the activity and does a filter and then puts it all together as a sum, and then lists that for the month, or sorry, for the item that's there. So Party Wall Act, I'm looking for anything with Party Wall Act between these dates for that particular column. And of course I do a little description there to say exactly what I'm looking for. I was going to do some goals, and I've not got round to doing that. Now also I've got on here total hours, so for every month I do a listing of the hours that I've done, and as you can see, July has been a good month for me so far. I'm starting to build up August already. I've got 2 hours in there, and I've got 20 hours total for the year. Now you can also see I've got a weighted hours that I've done. So at the moment I'm doing 20 weighted hours as against total hours for the year of 20. So it's all been a value of 10. What does that mean? Well, if you go back to activity, you can see that I put the subject down, the project, the method that I did, in other words, a meeting or whatever, general reading. There's no real drop-down box for that at all. The hours I spent on it. Now, the quality of that research, I put in a value, and of course then that's just a percent, so it puts it into the right weighted value. In the comments, I put down a simple overview of what I've been doing, and then some tags. Now, I put this on afterwards, so I didn't, in the early days, I've not done anything on it, as you can see, but now what I do, I just put some simple tags in there. I hope this will help me later on and do some work on it. Every year I put a little bit of extra into this spreadsheet, and it's working quite well. Now also I've got a link. Now I'll show you how that works, because sometimes it's just a straightforward link into something like this particular one, which is somebody's spreadsheet. It's into somebody's website about programming, and I blogged it yesterday. But sometimes it's straight onto my blog because I've already done all the work, and I'll just put a link onto that. Sometimes I go into I find stuff that's I can't take in from the spreadsheet. Now let me just go on to here, because as you can see here, let's go up here and do a search, and I'll search up here for brickwork. It doesn't matter, anything will do. And it'll bring up something, and let's bring up the Wikipedia for brickwork. And as you can see up here, I've got a little trunk thing, which is the clip to an Evernote app that Evernote give out. Now when I click on this, it either says save the full page or just a portion of it, or the URL. I keep it as default as being to the full page, and it's trying to load up my notebooks, and I can add tags onto this, and I can add a comment onto it. It's a very good way of saving information. If you haven't got this ability, in other words, you're taking in something from outside, an external source, and in my particular case I've got a program called PDF Pen. Now PDF Pen is a wonderful little program because I've got it linked into my scanner, and I've got a Brother A3 scanner printer. Now what I'll do is I'll import from the scanner, and as you can see this will bring it up. I'm not in the document feed, it's on the flatbed, and it'll scan it up and bring it in. Now the useful of this is that I can take in external stuff. The other beauty is that Evernote, once it's got the PDF inside itself, it'll then scan it, and when I do a search it'll bring up anything of the text. So I want to highlight all of that little bit of document. It's actually a specification, a little booklet you get through. Specification I quite like. And I've been doing some research on inverted roofs, as you're probably aware, and Caro are a very good company for their little tiny supports for the paving flags for the inverted roof. I really like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan that, and while it's scanning I'll just decide what I'm going to do with it. Now the PDF Pen has the ability for me to either save it as a PDF, or, and that's the finished document, and I can put more on there if I want to, I can save it to Evernote. Now doing that, I can do Caro paving support. Now they don't allow you to put any tags on there, and what I'll do then is I'll show you how I do that. Well, you know how to do it, but I'll just show you. Let's save that into Evernote, and as you can see it's quickly scanning it and pushing it across over to Evernote as a PDF. It'll take a little time for it to come into here, and I'll show you then. Let's just take that and oh, I don't want to quit Evernote. I'm on the wrong screen. Quick PDF Pen. I don't want to save it. Now let's bring up Evernote and do a quick sync and see whether it'll bring it up quite quickly. Let's take off the tag there. We don't want that on because I want all my notes up there. And let's go right up to the top. It's all the way down the bottom. Now it's already in. There's the Caro paving support. Now what I want to do is I want to make a note inside my inside the document. Now I don't want to link onto that. I want the actual tag for this. Now what I need to do is to go onto that one there, and I want to copy or share the URL to the clipboard of the actual note within Evernote. So I'll copy that on. It's copied for that particular document. Now let's just take that across and go back onto here. And I'm going to I'll show you how I put it in, and you can see what it is. So today's date is the 2nd of the 8th, 2013. I'll go across. It's Steve's Sketchbook. I don't have to put it all in. It already does it. I'm going to put down inverted roof here. The item I'm going to put down, and I'll list those up. And I've got a nice little program a nice little bit of work on the spreadsheet that looks up the project list only in the first column. And I'm going to put this down to where am I? I'm going to put it down to design because that's what I want to put it into. I'm just going to put down the method was web. I'm going to put down because I've done some other work on it, and also no, I'm not going to put down. Yeah, I'm going to put down web. And what else am I going to put down there? Because it was also magazine. I'm going to put down it was about half an hour, so metric 0.5. Oops. 0.5. It was value research, and so I'll put down that it gets everything there. Now what I can do on the comments, and it was research into inverted roofs and supports. Now what I can do here is I'll put the tags in afterwards. It's much the same, and I'll go down here and I'll paste the link onto Evernote to where it is. So if I read this, I'll know exactly where I put the information. And if it was onto a Picasso, in other words, I've got a picture I want to refer to, it'll be there. And also the oak frame, well, if it's a book link, I'll put it onto there. So that's how I put in a link onto the two. Now, just so happens that sometimes I'll do this, and I've done some research, and the research has been external to everything. I've got no way of linking it in other than to say I actually attended something. Now let's just for instance say a matter of balance, that excellent that feather balancing trick that a young Japanese lady did. What I'll do is I'll highlight the whole of the line, and basically I'll just copy it. Now what that has done is allowed me to go back into Evernote, and I'll just drag it in so you can see what's going on. And I'll do file, I want a new note. Now it's going to put a new note up here, and I'm just going to put down here balance with feather, and I'm going to put Control V. In other words, I'm going to copy and paste what I did from the spreadsheet in here. Now immediately I've got a note of everything, and of course Evernote will scan this eventually, pretty quick for me, and it will put it in as part of my search pattern. If I want to add further notes in here, I'll go into there and I'll just put tags, and I'll put feather, balance, structure. You get the idea, and just come out of that. So I've got a full cycle of information going on. I've got it into my Evernote because I've scanned it in from my CPD list because that was where I put it in first. So there's a workflow going on here that is going to be very useful to me. Now, end of the day, I'm sitting here and I'm doing some research, and let's put up, that's the brickwork thing. Let's go back into Google, and let's say I want something on Zaha Hadid. So if I put down Zaha Hadid, and of course all the stuff that the web has got is now coming up. But because I've put the app in for Safari, and I've got the same because I use Chrome as well quite a lot, as you can see down the bottom here. Because Safari has got the app in from Evernote, it's also searching my personal database within Evernote, and immediately, I hope you saw, it brought up a whole load of stuff about Zaha that I have actually put into my own. And there's the latest one. I hope you watched it. Zaha on BBC. Really good. Who Dare Wins. And it really was a good biography of her. And very, very good. So there it is. Full cycle of my saving everything that I do now into Evernote. The link I've got onto my spreadsheet where I keep all my information and all my records. And there's the total hours. By the way, just a small thing, I've put this just recently on, which is my project filter. And of course, I've got this little formula into the first line up here. And as you can see, there's the formula. Stop, copy it over and do what you like with it. But basically, I've got a drop-down box here, again, from the project list. And if I want timber frame, it brings up all the timber frame activity that I have done. It doesn't put a search up, sorry, it doesn't put a total value up, but it just shows me that all the items I've worked on from 2011 that I've been looking at timber frame. Not much on that. Let's have a look at building regs. There's quite a bit on that. Yeah, there's a reasonable amount that I've done. And let's have a look at, say, BIM just recently. I've been doing quite a bit on it, as you can see by the dates. So that's it. The total hours gives me all that I'm doing, and I can keep a track of both what I do in any month, but also for my project list year on year. And you can see that I did quite a bit on Vectorworks in 11 to 12. 12 to 13 I didn't put much in. I did an awful lot, but I just didn't put it in. And now this year I've done 2 hours because I've been doing quite a bit of work with Jonathan Pickup. So there it is, the whole thing. All the activity that I want to do is all there. I can search for it through my filters, and because I need a front page, there it is. Hope you enjoyed that. It's been about 3.5 to 4 years doing this, and my workflow works. If anybody says to me, what CPD have you done? I can actually go out and print the project list out quite happily, and if they want to see the total hours, I'll print that off as a separate sheet, as a PDF. I'll use the Mac software to just pull it all into one booklet, and I'll just send it off to them. There you go, there's all my work. Do you want to know anything? And all the links are there. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Talk to you soon. Bye.